And I'd like to welcome you all to our Thursday 1:30 p.m. session with our guest cyber seniors once again, where Annie will be covering features of the Mail app on Apple devices. So, Annie, if you could introduce yourself and your topic for today, we really appreciate it. Make sure you all stay on for the poll at the end. And thanks so much for attending our session today.
Thank you so much for introducing us, Alex. I'm gonna share my screen right now. Before anything, everybody, thank you so much for joining us and be willing to learn more about your mail application. My name is Annie Salcedo, and I work for a nonprofit organization that helps seniors with the use of technology, as well as the use of their electronic devices. Today, we are going to talk about features of the Mail app in Apple devices. If you have an iPhone or an iPad, this is going to be something that you can apply if you use an email. Okay, so let me go to the next slide and I will show the disclaimer so all of you can see it here. Keep in mind that presentations are for educational purposes only and should not replace independent professional judgment. The views expressed are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily represent Cyber Seniors. Cyber Seniors does not endorse or assume responsibility for the accuracy or completeness of the information you are going to see today. Please note that the sessions may be recorded and may be published in various media without prior notice. With that out of the way, so let's start with the first thing here. I would like to let you know that the Apple Mail application supports any email server that you could be using. When I say email server, that can be Hotmail or now Outlook, Live.com, Yahoo, AOL, and any other email that you have from a internet or service provider. This is considered one of the best applications because it offers privacy features in comparison to other competitors in the market. This is one of the best. The commitment that Apple has for protecting customer privacy is hard to match as we speak in the tech industry. That's what people are getting more used to using Apple devices, iPhones, iPads these days, because they are usually recognized for being more secure. Okay, the first skill that I have here that I would like to introduce to you, and probably you may know some of these features. If you already know them, take this as a refresher. The first thing that I think is very nice is called the length of preview in messages. Now, if you don't know what this is when you open your email and you can see the list of messages you receive in your email, you oftentimes will see a line or two of what the email content is. You can decide if you want to increase the amount of lines you see of the email content. Not just to one or two, you can go to, for instance, 3 lines, 4 lines, and 5 lines. If you want to do that in your email, you will have to go to the settings application. We have talked about the settings applications before. And when you go to the settings, you are going to look for the option mail, right? From mail, you have an option called preview. And here you can increase the preview length from 2 lines to even 5 lines. Meaning when you see the list of messages you receive in your email account, you will be able to read more of the content of the email even before you open the email, which is kind of nice. You will have a better idea of what the email is about. If, in the other hand, you want to reduce the preview length because you don't want to see 5 lines, you just want to see a line at a time when you open your emails or your email preview, you can also do that. So you have the options here. As I said, you have to go to settings, you go to mail, that is something called preview, right? And after you can decide how many lines you have, okay? If you are a user that don't want to use or see any preview of your messages, you can also select the option none, which is at the very top of the preview menu. That is in the case that you feel more comfortable not seeing what the email says before you open the email. Second skill here is called working on multiple messages. Now, what is this? When you compose an email in your mail application, usually you will save it as a draft if you don't send it right away, right? If you are intending to go back and work on that email again. However, the mail application also offers features that allow you to work on multiple emails simultaneously. So I know the image here is a little bit small to see, but at the bottom of my screen, as I start composing emails, you will see these kind of tab looking squares at the bottom of your mail application, which is an indication that you can have or work on multiple emails simultaneously, right? You can have multiple drafts at once. If you are intending to send multiple emails, you can send them right by working on them simultaneously, right? The application Mail offers something is called Safari Light tab switching. A tab is usually the space for you to do an action. And as much as you see that in Safari, you see here in Mail. When you write an email, you can swipe down. Once you are with that screen of the email in front of you, you can swipe down and then the email would be put on hold and it will look something like you see at the bottom, like a small square, and you can switch back and forth between that email or another email, so forth and so on, right? That I will try to show this because probably it won't make a lot of sense and I will have to do the live demo so you understand a bit better what I'm referring to. But this is called working on multiple messages just for the fact that you can leave one draft, open another one, and you can work on them simultaneously. Before you only could work on a draft at once. Now you can work on multiple drafts simultaneously. Okay. The other one that we have here is customize what swipe gestures do. What is this? So when you are in a message on your mail application, you can decide what happened if you swipe left or if you swipe right. The swipe options will look similar to what you see here. So if I swipe left on a message I have in my mail application, I will flag the message, meaning I will mark the message as somehow important. If I swipe right, I will mark the message as read. So you can change the actions that the swiping you do in your emails has, right? You can decide, oh, I want to have another option other than flagging, or I want to have another action other than mark as read when I swipe either right or left. So if you open your email and you are trying to do either of these swiping, you will see how an action is done when you do that swiping. If you want to get this change, you will go again to your settings application, the mail menu, and there is a menu called swipe options, and you can change what these swipe gestures do, right? What happened when you swipe left or right? Some options that you have are, for instance, you can move the message to a different folder, you can archive the message, or nothing will happen if you swipe. So you can change these actions. In the mail application, you have something is called mailboxes. So the mailboxes allow you to access different things in your email. Examples of mailboxes, just to give you an idea, are, trash folder, draft, send. In your mail application, you can select many more options other than the ones I just mentioned, among which you will find VIP, flagged, unread. And you can categorize your email based on this. So for example, if I use unread, it's gonna show me only emails that I haven't read yet, right? And you can decide what folders you use or don't use in your mailboxes or your mail application. Oftentimes, when you open your mail application, you will see the title mailboxes, and instead of done, you will see edit. When you tap in edit, it will show similar options to what you see here, right? Each of these options have a little circle on the left side. And when you tap on that circle, you are selecting the circle. Therefore, in the future, it's gonna show that option for you. If you don't have these options, it's likely because you have not used them or not activate them to show up or be displayed in your mailboxes. Once you do a change, you will go to the done button. This one is nice, especially if you have people that you continuously talk to and are in communication with. You have something is called VIP alerts, right? The VIP alert feature on the mail application lets you add a specific contacts to something is called a VIP list. What this means is that whenever you receive a new message from these special contacts from the VIP, the mail application will send you a notification to let you know. To add someone to the VIP list, you can tap on the mailbox. So the VIP list is a mailbox, right? If you don't have any contact and you tap in the VIP, it will ask you add VIP. Therefore, you will have to input the email of that person you are in constant communication with. And when they send you messages, they will have some form of priority. So you are not missing any of the messages they send you. This is another similar option in comparison to the one I just explained. It's called Notify Me. This is a good option if you are involved in an email that was sent to multiple people at the same time, like a group kind of email. The mail application will notify you that you have a response to that group email, right? And when you open, or how do you open this? So if you go to your mail application, open the list of messages you receive, tap and hold on that group email that you received, you will be able to see an option that says notify me. Once this option is activated, you will receive a notification every single time someone replies to the email thread. Because there is a lot of people in the messages, oftentimes people are not able to see the responses because they have to go through the chain or the thread of the email to be able to find the responses. But with Notify Me, you will be able to see any new response associated with a group email whenever a person responds to a group kind of email. For the following set of options, I would like to mention that you have to ensure you have updated your iPad or iPhone in order to take advantage of these features. For this purpose, you will have to go to Settings, General, and Software Update. If you need to update your software, it will say download and install the latest update. If you are told that the iOS or operating system is up to date, you are good, right? Normally it will show you that there is nothing to take place. It will show the version of the software like 16.7.7, something like that. It means your software is up to date. If it's not up to date, it will say something like download and install on the screen, and it will prompt you to install that. From these newest features, we have something is called Protect Mail Activity. I don't know if you know this, but by default, companies and marketers that send you emails can obtain certain information, such as if you open the email, right, and your location, just by you opening that. With Protect Mail Activity, your email will prevent this kind of places to use that kind of information. right? And the Apple's Protect Mail activity will stop anything untowards from those companies or marketers to happen. Usually you have the same description that I have here on my left side that says, mail privacy protection works by hiding your IP address. Your IP address is your identification online. And loading remote content privately in the background, meaning other people won't be able to see certain information such as your location when you open your email. That's a little bit about what this is. I use this one. I find this is a good option to have on. This one is more fun, right? Before in the mail application, we were kind of limited as to the formatting options we had. Now you can change fonts, color, the type of letter that you use when you respond to an email. It will look similar to what you see on the screen. So this is an email that I compose. And when I compose an email, because I need to use my keyboard, I have an iPhone or an iPad, and therefore you need to use your screen keyboard. You oftentimes in the very top of the letters of your keyboard, you will see a double A icon, like a capital A and a lowercase a, right? And those are the representation of the feature change fonts and formatting. This icon allow you to use things like bold, italic, underline, strike through letters. You can change the default font as well. The size, you can decrease it or increase it. So the smaller A is to decrease, the bigger A is to increase, and this circle right here represent the color of the letter, right? The other things that you can do is using bullet points. So if you're trying to number the things that you want to do, perhaps you are giving instructions to somebody via email, you can use bullet points, and you can also change the orientation of your letter, whether that is to the left, to the center, or to the right. So now this is something that you can do in your iPhone and in your iPad that before you only could do in computers, right? And it's kind of nice because you can do a lot of things that you couldn't do before. Similar to the previous option, you have this one that is kind of nice, and it's called hyperlink to text. Now, if you don't know what this is essentially your ability to send links and change the name of the link you are sending. So if you look at my screen, I started an email here on my left image, right? On my image on the middle, I use the link cyberseniors.org, which is a website. And after I gave to that link, instead of saying cyberseniors.org, I gave the link the name cyberseniors. You can do this, especially if you have one of those links that are so long and people don't have idea what that link is for. You can simply give that link a name as opposed to having all those letters that sometimes are confusing to people. So you can add a hyperlink to text. Essentially, you can name a link as you want, no matter where the link comes from, right? Once you are done doing this, you have options such as the one you see on the right side. So you can show a link preview. How will the link look like before you send it, or how it will look like for the person who received it. You can open the link from your email, right? If you click on the link, or you can edit the link if that is needed, or remove the link, right? It's a nice feature, especially if you are trying to use links to send information. Like, for example, you can find a nice video for your family in YouTube and you want to send it over email, then you copy the link from YouTube and you name it funny dog doing funny things, instead of all the scramble of letters and numbers that a link usually have. This one is also nice. So you have something is called markup tools. So what is a markup tool? When you receive a document or image in your keyboard, if you are opening the email with that attachment, say for example, is a PDF or an image, right? You can use the pen icon that is displayed on your keyboard to access markup tools, and it will look similar to what you see here. So I open an image, and when I open the image, I press my pen icon and I was able to see things like this. You can add stickers, you can add description, you can add text, you can add a signature, you can add shapes, right? Keep in mind that in order for you to be able to use your finger and use these markup tools, you have to enable something is called draw with finger. If you don't use a pencil to operate your device, you have to allow the device to draw with finger. Otherwise, when you're trying to use these tools, you won't see anything happen, especially if you are trying to highlight with a marker or something like that, like a document you received, you need to activate that feature. All right. This one is related to security. And why is it related to security? You have the ability to remove one-time verification codes that you receive either via your tablet, iPad, or your cell phone, iPhone. Emails with one-time passwords or verification codes for multi-factor authentication that you can receive via a text message are meant to be used once. After that, they don't have any use. However, they remain in your inbox, which by means affects your space or storage. You can set such emails and text messages to be removed after they are used. So after you open a one-time verification code message, the iPad or iPhone will delete that for you, so you don't have to delete it. How do you do that? You go to your settings and you go to the options password, and there is an option called clean up automatically. When you go to clean up automatically, right, it will show something similar to what you see here at the bottom right corner. And you can activate by tapping. It should be green when it's activated, and essentially it will delete verification codes that you received either in messages or via your mail application, right? So that is kind of nice because you don't have to worry about deleting these things that otherwise have not other use once you use them to verify your identity. And that said, I'm gonna go back to this thanks slide after. Let me go to my device and I'm gonna show you some of the things that we covered today. All right, so I'm gonna share my iPad now, and we are going to review at some of the things that I mentioned. So when you can see my screen, please let me know. Okay, it's just thinking right now. Give me a second. Can we see this?
You're good to go, Annie. And by the way, thank you so much. I learned a lot from your presentation. Thank you.
Wonderful. Alrighty. I will be happy to answer questions in just a little bit. All right. First thing, the preview for emails. So let me go to my mail application. So I'm gonna open my mail application, which is the envelope. I have it right here, and I have it right here in my dock. So I'm gonna tap in mail. And when I go to mail, I was watching something. Okay, here is one of my messages, but I'm going to my mailboxes. So I hope that you can see. Yep, preview, preview refers to how many lines you see when you receive a messages. So because I have my messages set up with 5 lines, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. However, if I were to change that, which I'm going to use settings, and then I'm going to my mail application, which is this one right here, right? On the left side below passwords, and then I will go to the option preview, right? So this is associated with how I see my messages from the message list. So right now I have my messages to display 5 lines, but if I were to change it, say that I go to 2 lines, right? Now when I go to my mail application, instead of 5 lines, I hope that you guys can see the difference. Now I can only see 2 lines. In essence, this allows you to see much more of the content of an email before you open the email, right? So from the list of your messages, you can see what the email says because you are choosing more lines to read, if that makes sense. So that is associated to the preview. Let me go to the second option that I believe that was a little bit difficult. So I believe it was working on multiple emails at once. So how do you do that? Okay, I'm going back to my mail application and then say that I'm going to compose an email. If you want to compose an email, so say that I'm here, I will go to that little pen and pencil at the top of my screen, then I can compose an email. However, what we were saying is that you can work on more than one email at once, and I will just swipe this down, right? And you see, as soon as I swipe down, I have now my square of that email I was composing, and I have something is called new window that allow me to go and do something else, among which I can go use the paper and pen, tap on it, I can swipe again, and now I have, you know, more emails here. So here is the email I composed, so I can go back to that. If I were to swipe down, I can minimize that and I can go to my second email, right? And then essentially I can work on multiple emails at once just by swiping this down. And it worked like tabs, right? You can swipe them and you can move them at the bottom and decide where you want to be. So you have access not only to the draft, but the mailboxes if you need to see them. So this is the email I was reading before, and this is also another thing that I was doing before. So I can use it to work on a draft, but I can also use it to see another part of my email application. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, so the other function that we were talking is about the swipe gestures. So depending on what are you doing, you can swipe. So for example, if I swipe left, you see how it says archive, right? Meaning that is the action I have chosen to do when I swipe left. However, if I swipe right, you see, it will trash this message. And essentially, you can decide what kind of action happens when you are swiping either to the left or to the right. And where do you go? You go to your settings. I'm going back to my settings. Let me press my home button. And I go to settings, go to my mail. I was in my mail. And there is something called swipe options. I go to swipe options. And here I have the functions, right? So if I swipe left, I can move the message. If I swipe right, I can archive the message. And you will do this when you are in the list of messages you receive in your mail and you swipe with your finger either left or right. You can decide what happens when you do that move. So you can decide not to have any move if you swipe right or left. You can also mark as read, flag the email so it is in important folders, or move the message to a different folder other than the one it was or was originally. All right. So this is about adding or removing mailboxes, right? I want to show you this from the mail application so it makes more sense for you. So I'm gonna press my home button once again. Let me press my home button. And I'm going to my mail application. And here is my inbox. So the inbox is where your messages are. However, you have other mailboxes, including send, draft, delete, so on and so forth. And that is usually under this tiny square right here at the top left. So if I were to tap on that, then I can see my mailboxes. I have certain mailboxes here. As you can see, I have inbox, unread, VIP, flagged, draft, send, junk, trash, all mail. But I can edit these mailboxes by tapping in the word edit. Not this edit because it will do something different, but the edit on top of the word mailboxes. If I tap on that, then you can see all the different mailboxes that you have. So you have inbox, and all the mailboxes that you see are the ones that have a check mark, but you can decide which ones you use. So say that I select attachments, right? And I also select the option today. If I receive emails that particular day, I will be able to access them by using today. So when you select those mailboxes, for whatever reason you want them, you want to filter your email better, for example, you will tap in done. And now they will be displayed at all times, right? Before, today wasn't, an attachment wasn't. What allowed them to do is just to filter things differently. So inbox is a combination of all emails you have. But if you go to unread, you will have just emails that you haven't read yet. If I go back to attachments, it will show me any emails that have attachments on. And essentially, this is a sort of filter for things that you want to do and to be able to find emails quicker and faster, depending on the content they have, okay? All right, that is related to your mailboxes and how you can change them to be displayed. Now you have something called VIP. So VIP is also a mailbox. So if you don't have it here, remember you had to go to edit. So say that I don't have it. I'm gonna show you if I don't have VIP. I don't have VIP here in my mailboxes. So I will go to edit. I will tap in VIP. It has a star beside that. Tap on that, then tap in done, and now I can see VIP. So VIP allow me to add quickly people that are important and I am in constant communication with. Cases of that can be your doctor, right? Your family, finances. Essentially, you can add somebody in your VIP list by tapping in the option add VIP. And when you do that, it will ask you for that content. Right now, I don't have any contacts, but you can select contacts from your iCloud or any other applications you have, including your contact list. So I don't have any selected, but that's how you add a person. It will take their email or perhaps their number and it will add it here. Whenever they communicate with you, you can refer to VIP, which is only for those people who you have marked as VIP. It will filter any other messages. You only will see those messages in this folder in particular, okay? That is the VIP list. Now we talk about Notify Me. So this is useful for when you have been included in an email that was sent to multiple people at once and people are responding to that email and sometimes you lose track of what was the most recent email in that thread. You can tap and hold that email from the list of your messages, tap and hold. When you do that, you often will see a list of options. So this is a link that was sent to me and other people, and I can select the option Notify Me. So whenever there is a new messages for this, you will receive a notification indicating that that particular email thread or group email has a response, and it will take you to the response, the most recent response that you received via that email. All right, and when it comes to updating our device, before I go to the most recent features, remember that you can go to your settings, right? In your settings, you will find a menu. Right now, because I was using the mail application, I cannot see it, but you will find a menu called General. Here it is. So this is my general menu. Okay, and if I go to my general menu, then I can go to the option software update. And when I go to software update, if my device needs to be updated, it will say somewhere here, download and install. If your device is up to date, it will say something similar to what you see for me. So I have the latest version that exists for my own iPad, which is the 17.7.6, right? Make sure that you also have automatic updates set up. So your device, soon as it's connected to the internet and has enough battery, will do the updates on its own without you having to do much. Right? If you come here and you have download and installed, you can do it right there and then. Okay. So first thing we talk about is how to protect your mail application, your mail from other people to track you or see when you open a message or your location associated to that email. For that, you will go to your settings, which is the application, which is when to see the updates. But instead of general, you will have to go back to your mail application, tap on that mail application, and then you have an option that is called privacy protection. And you can go to privacy protection, and you have the option protect mail activity. This, in an ideal situation, should be green, right? If you have a gray, you can also select things such as hiding your IP address or block all remote content. You don't want to see this because in reality, all content you receive is remote, just by the means that if a person is not in the same location that you are, they can still message you, right? But you want to simply select the option protect mail activity, which is solves any issue on the terms of your privacy, especially for whatever explanation they include here. And this is the fun part associated to change font and formatting. How do you do that? So let's go back to creating an email. So let me go back here. Okay, here is the screen. And I'm going back to my email. And I'm going to use one of the tabs that I created before to compose an email. So I'm gonna select this one that says new message, tap here at the bottom. And then when I go to the body of my email, so right now I'm in 2, so I don't see anything here. I need to go to the body of my email to be able to see the formatting options. And as soon as I am in the body of my email, as opposed to in 2 or subject, I won't see options here. But when I go to the body of my email, I will see the double A, right? That double A right here, capital A and the lowercase a. Tap on that, and then I can see the formatting. And let's try to have fun with this. So I'm gonna, select in my name, for example. So I'm gonna select my name, and I'm going to the double A, and I'm gonna change the color of my name. And instead of black, I'm gonna make it, what about this nice blue, right? And my name was changed to blue. I can tap to be back. And now my name has been changed to blue, right? I can also change the letter of the things that I have here. So I will go back to the double A, and I will change the default font. So let me see what option do I have. So I can choose from any of these options that I have here. I actually like this one that says chalk Duster, and then my name was changed, but I don't like the color, it's not as clear. So when I change the letter and the color and I go back to the double A, you see the changes, right? So the letter is here, the color is now blue instead of black, and I can go back and choose another one. And now my letter has been changed. The other thing that we mentioned is the markup tool, which is represented by this little marker that you see here at the bottom, right? And if I were to tap in there, you have the ability to draw in your email. So for example, I'm gonna, my initials, right? And I draw my initials, say it's a signature, and I then can use done. And it will ask me if I want to insert the drawing in my email or save it to files. I actually want to insert it in the email, so I'm gonna insert drawing. And then here it is in the email I was composing. Of course, a little bit bigger than usual. This is something that you can do if you want to have your email, your signature in your email. Likewise, similar to the markup tool, you have this other icon that looks like a piece of paper, and you can look recent documents and attach it to your email as well. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here. I mean, that's all the time I think I got. I want to leave a space for some of you who may have questions. And yeah, so let me put the thank you for listening. I hope that you guys learn a couple new things.
Oh, well, again, thank you so much, Annie, for coming on. And I loved your presentation to kind of go over the concepts, and then your live demo where you showcased each and every one of them. I really appreciate that.
No problem. Glad to present for you and that you find it useful. If anybody has any question, I did not see any questions really in the chat. I don't know if you did, Alex.
No, I just shared some comments in the chat here because on iPad OS 18, again, I'm not sure the generation of your iPad, Annie, but it's 18 right now. So everything that she mentioned today was amazing, and the procedure on how to do it just makes slightly very different. Like it's apps, and then you have, then you'll be able to see all the different apps that are on the iPad. So I really appreciate everything that you shared today.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Any questions, any comments from you guys, or
We're awfully
new that you
quiet today.
learned? Something new that you learned, a tip that you'll take advantage of, um, anything you guys would like to share. But again, you're able to review this on YouTube, so please rewind and replay if you'd like to go over any of those concepts again. So I love that. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, Geraldine. Thanks so much for attending.
Yeah. I learned a lot, but I think I'll take advantage of the ability to have 2 to 5 lines showing in your email. I like that. I like that you go to settings and mail, then preview, and then select the number of lines you would like showing. And I also like the clean up automatically. I get a lot of codes. When I try to sign in, it's always a code you get. And I like the clean up automatically where they delete the codes automatically. So I like those 2 features.
Nice.
Best.
Those 2, if they serve you well, I'm happy for that.
Yeah, those are fine. I like those.
Nice. Thank you so much for that, Geraldine.
Yeah, the previews, they could be so helpful in figuring out what or if you should open an email, to see what's going on. And certainly if you sign in or have a lot of accounts, which on an iPad it can be very easy too because of all the different apps and such. It's great to be able to clean up your email just a bit after using those codes. The great thing is when they do ask for the codes, when you're in whatever application you're in, you may be able to hit the code above the keyboard when it pops up, and then it will delete automatically once you do. So you can either physically set it, or if you see that code above the keyboard, and then it'll ask you, hey, do you want to keep doing this or delete the codes automatically? Make sure you check out those settings. They're very helpful.
Yeah. Wonderful. Any other questions?
Any other thoughts? Again, thank you for the tips and the tricks and the mailboxes. I love it. You can create your own folders by using the bottom section of the mailboxes by creating a folder for whatever email you have. And one great thing about the Mail app, like you said, Annie, is that you can use any email server pretty much that's out there, and you can have different ones in the same app. So versus
Yeah.
having Gmail, the Yahoo Mail app separately, you can just have one app with your Yahoo and your Gmail in the same app, which is great.
And that mail protection feature will apply if you use Yahoo or Gmail. It doesn't matter because you are using your email via the mail application. Yeah. So
And it works. It works.
it,
You
it
know,
works. Yeah.
if you know, as working in, you know, communications and that is definitely a feature that is helpful in protecting those things. So
Yeah.
I love again, thank you, Annie. And any last questions? Any last thoughts?
I mean, I know it's a lot to process.
Yeah, so please review and rewind, everybody. And it's just in addition to module 3. So definitely when we have that again, or if you viewed on our channel along with this one, you guys will be mail experts. Annie, what do you like most about the Mail app before we go for today?
That feature about protection, because people complain, like, how do they know that I open an email is the one that I have for, and how do they know when or where I am located? Yeah, so the email protection feature, I really like that one a lot.
Oh yeah, iOS and iPadOS, like you said, Apple is really big on privacy, making sure it's like signing in, two-factor authentication is all throughout Apple with the mail privacy, the iCloud Plus, you know, privacy options as well. So it's a very secure system. I have not had any challenges at all with Apple devices in that manner. So
Yeah.
it's a great tool. So thank you so much.
Yeah. No problem. I use Android, and for my Android, I have to use like a dummy email, not to use my own email.
Yeah, so I love Apple security. So
Yep.
thank you, Annie. I really appreciate you coming with us today, and we hope you enjoy your month of May.
Thank you, Alex.
And you'll be with us next month for another wonderful tech topic, and hopefully that game that you mentioned as well too. We love some games over here. But let's all say thank you so much to Annie for presenting our session today, and make sure you stay on for our poll. Thank you so much, Annie. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy
Bye.
Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Happy
Yeah,
Mother's
yeah,
Day.
happy
Happy
Mother's
Mother's Day.
Day.
Right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for remembering that I am a mother.
Yes. We
Yeah,
appreciate it so much, Annie.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day.
For you girls that are mothers too, like
Thank
you
you.
have the hardest job
Well,
raising these
well,
kids.
I'm a grandmother and a
Thank
great-grandma.
Oh wow.
you.
Well, you have it. I'm not a grandmother yet.
great grandmother.
Oh
Oh.
wow. Great grandmother.
Yeah,
Nice.
the first grandma